Life is like a wild party. How do you plan to enjoy it? To find the answer, Ned put on his swimsuit and returned to the swimming pool he hadn't seen in 30 years. Retirement doesn't mean you can't swim, and age shouldn't stop you from chasing your dreams. Back in familiar territory, Ned instantly turned into a swimming fish. Maybe he truly is the endurance prince of the water, just a trial swim, and he was already gasping for air. The next day, he went to find his best friend, Bonnie. Bonnie thought Ned returned for a workout. Little did she know he had a grand dream to fulfill. Swim from Cuba to Florida. Hearing this, Bonnie thought her ears had lost the plot. Even in his youth, it was impossible. Now at 60, it seemed like a recipe for this. As a lifelong best friend, Bonnie knew what that determined glint in Ned's eyes meant. There's nothing in this world that could stop him now, but achieving that feat isn't just a walk in the park. To prove to Bonnie that he was still as strong as ever, they headed to a port in Mexico. He needed to swim for 8 hours straight in the currents, otherwise the 60-hour swim from Cuba to Florida would just be a joke. Ned's skills were unquestionable, but age had reduced his workout frequency, and his body just couldn't generate enough heat to battle the ocean chill. Frozen to the bone, Ned had no choice but to call it a day, having swum for 4 hours and 14 minutes. He was frustrated with his result when Bonnie jokingly mentioned a study saying humans can never swim from Cuba to Florida. Not to mention 60-year-old lady, Bonnie was fully aware of that. No matter how old Ned got, he feared no one in a challenge, and he would fight tooth and nail to prove he could do it. Subtitles. In his second try, Ned successfully accomplished 8 hours of continuous swimming in the open sea, even though Bonnie had no knowledge whatsoever about swim training. But she understood Ned. She saw the impossible and the hope for miracles in him. Next up was endurance training. Bonnie needed to accompany Ned, gradually increasing his swim duration. Ned now was nothing like his younger self. His muscles and cardiovascular health had diminished, but his willpower was stronger than ever. Soon, they arrived in Cuba. Preparing for the next phase of the challenge, besides the necessary sponsors, Ned was going for an unprotected swim, so he needed effective measures. To fend off shark attacks, shark expert Luke demonstrated the new signal release device. He dumped a bucket of smelly fish guts into the ocean and just jumped right in. The next second, a shark came swimming over. But thanks to the signal from the device, the shark couldn't get close. Ned still needed a navigator. John, known as the King of the Bay, had so much sailing experience that he was like the captain of the sea. Because calculating currents requires precision, this isn't just swimming in a pool. The ocean's moving water is ever-changing. Swimming the wrong way by mistake is minor. A whirlpool means the whole village's help. John admired Ned's courage but informed Bonnie that there were only a few specific days each year when the wind and currents were favorable for crossing. This window is very brief, and even if all conditions are met, the success rate of this challenge is less than 10%, so they had to be mentally prepared. But for Ned in the water, his only job was to keep swimming. The team then invited the lead captain. John modified the navigator ship. He placed a glowing red line under the water and had 2 rescue boats ready at all times. They did a 24-hour uninterrupted test swim. Ned was exhausted to vomit. Finally, with media in public focus, Ned stood at Cuba's start point. He jumped in without hesitation. 166 km to go now. But due to the currents, he had to swim over 170 km, initially estimated to take over 52 hours. Initially, Ned swam fast. The weather seemed stable. By night, had swum 11 hours. He showed no signs of fatigue. But the ocean at night was cruel and frightening. Ned faced challenges from every direction. Chilly waters, overwhelming depths of fear, silent currents, and dangerous marine life. From the moment he entered the water, Ned was enduring torment. After swimming for 25 hours, while eating, Ned felt a stabbing pain in his shoulder. Bonnie quickly urged him to take pills. Facing this agony, Ned would never back down. After taking the pills, he put on his goggles and got back into his rhythm, but soon he started having strange reactions. At this point, the currents also began to change, and even swimmers can experience seasickness. Ned, feeling unwell, started vomiting. Upon observation, Bonnie suddenly realized Ned was having an allergic reaction and found out the doctor had made a mistake with the medication. Just one little mistake caused Ned's challenge to fall apart. Now he had swum 87 kilometers, half the distance. Faced with difficulty breathing and the currents changing direction, this challenge had already been called off. Ned knew he couldn't swim any further. He didn't want to accept that ending, but his body was out of control. After swimming for 28 hours, the challenge was declared a failure, but would he back down? Absolutely not. On September 23, 2011, Ned plunged into the water again, now 62 years old, armed with lessons from last time. This time, Bonnie had the more experienced doctor traveling with them. The initial journey went smoothly. For the first 12 hours, Ned swam with a great rhythm. But even when there are no waves, this area can still be dangerous. Diana, what's wrong? I'm fine. The accompanying doctor quickly dove into the water to rescue her but was attacked by a jellyfish. Meanwhile, Ned struggled desperately. He swam laboriously to the boat, where crew members promptly gave him an injection to stabilize him, but the accompanying doctor lost consciousness within seconds. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.